either last night, night before, whatever it was, Oklahoma City playing the Los Angeles Lakers. Close game, right down to the wire, right? It's a 5-point game, 4 seconds to go, and the Lakers inbound the ball. The Thunder steal it and go in for a dunk at the buzzer, basically, and they could have just kind of dribbled out the clock. And Russell Westbrook lost his mind. He went after the guy who dunked it. He got thrown out of the game. And this kind of goes to all sports. So you can bring up football if you want, baseball, whatever, but all sports, we kind of talk about sportsmanship versus the game itself. And there are people who say, listen, it's the game. You're supposed to stop the guy. Just stop the guy. And if you can't, and I kind of, only a little bit, understand that, but I also believe we're human beings and we should say, hey, listen, how can we be the best possible human beings we can? Is the best possible human being somebody who rubs it in when they win? Or somebody who says, hey, listen, man, I'm going to take a knee. Victory formation.
Yeah, so I actually watched that game, and I think the frustration from Russ himself was giving up with a 28-point lead and then losing to his old team. And I think the dunk kind of just frustrated, kind of boiled over a little bit more. But to add to your point there, when you are up by 3 points with 3 seconds left and you steal the ball, I mean, this is definitely was a jab at Russ himself, just because he has been in Oklahoma City for like 8 or 9 years or whatever it was, and then he goes and joins this quote super team. So yes, you want to kind of rub your old superstar, like your old teammate's face in it, like hey, we just came back from 28 points down and we beat you in Oklahoma City. Welcome back home. You are not welcome here anymore. So to that fact, I do agree with what they did, just because, like you said, you get paid to stop me. If you can't, sorry about your luck. But on the, it is kind of a double-edged sword, just because, the next time that the Lakers and Oklahoma City plays, let's say the Lakers are up by 30-plus points and they have a chance to pull their starters. Are they going to? Probably not. They're going to run up to 50, 60 points, right? So it is kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. I am okay like how it played out, because of Russ was playing his old team and he was probably John like all night. You can just not take like that one spot of the game and say this is why they should have done this, and this. Like you have to see the whole game in that aspect.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because, again, I'm a very big believer that human beings are the worst species that exists on the planet. And that's because we can think about what we do and we still do the wrong thing on purpose, not by accident.
Yep.
And the thing is, we can be decent. And that's where it comes to, I mean, let's say Russ was just running his mouth the whole game at Oklahoma City, right? And he was like, you guys stink, you guys suck, whatever, right? Someone might say, well, then he's totally justified in rubbing it in his face with that dunk. Is he? I mean, is that what good human beings do? Or do they take the high road and say, hey, listen, I know you've been jawing at me all game, but I'm not going to do – 2 wrongs don't make a right, right? We tell kids that, but somehow when we become adults, I don't know what age, but we just forget that. We think, 2 wrongs do make a right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Wayne, you are a basketball guy. You shoot the outside shot, right? And I don't know, like, are you a jar or do you just let your game talk?
I just let the game talk. I say maybe 2 words per season to the opposing team or to the referees. I do cheer on my teammates. I'll say, hey, good pass, good shot.
Right.
That's the only time I'm vocal, though. I just score. And I mean, I've had games where I went out and I dropped 40 and I didn't say a word, and it's just because I'm just playing. And I've also played against guys who talked the entire game. And I would, in my heart, I'm like, you know what? I would love to just rub this guy's face in it,
Yeah.
But then I also have my mind, and my mind is what does my action procedures or whatever. And so I just want to say, listen, I would love to do that, but when the clock's running out, I'm just going to hold the ball at half court. I could jack up a 3, but I'm just going to hold the ball at half court.
So you are a very rare human being, just because when most people have that person that are jawing at them all game long, and then you kind of have a chance to stick it to them just because you don't talk, you kind of stick it to them by finishing finishing at the other end, like with a big dunk or a big 3. That's just, I feel like that is my competitive nature in me, just because, I'm a person that talks all day long, and I don't care if we're up by 50 or down by 50. I'm still going to jaw, and how people got back to me was beat me by 50 plus points, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. So,
well, I look at it this way: is so not to go too far down the rabbit hole, and definitely not to bring the show into like a religious nature, right? But I do believe that there are great teachers in the world, Socrates and Aristotle and Plato and whatnot, and one of them is potentially Jesus, right? And in the Sermon on the Mount, if we all remember, if we don't, I'm gonna try to give a little quiz. Did he say, if somebody slaps you on the cheek, stab him in the sack? Or did he say, if somebody slaps you, turn the other cheek? He's basically saying don't retaliate when somebody does something to you.
Yep.
And so I live by that principle. I really do. I don't get even with people because I also believe in karma. And so karma is going to take care of it for me. And I will laugh when it happens to them.